Well, hello. Welcome to Tuesday Tips Live. And normally this would be Phil Morse, but it's me this week. I'm Steve Canueto. I'm actually Phil's partner here at Digital DJ Tips, in case you didn't know. And yeah, I've got to admit I'm a little bit nervous doing this because I don't tend to usually do these Tuesday Tips Lives. Phil does them every week. He's super accomplished. He takes a few minutes to get ready and he just goes live. But for me, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking, and which is quite good because that's the subject that we're talking about here, is that what I'm doing in this particular live stream is I'm doing some practice. I'm doing some deliberate practice of something which I don't do that often in order to improve my skills. And that's what Tuesday Tips Live is all about today. It's how to use deliberate practice to improve your skills, no matter what it is that you want to improve in your DJing. And we'll talk a lot more about the various different things that you can improve on. So I hope that we're live everywhere and that we're looking and sounding good. We are live on YouTube and we're on Facebook, on our main Facebook page, Digital DJ Tips, also our Global DJ Network group. Hello to everybody who's there. And also on our Twitch channel and also on our Mixcloud Live. So we're everywhere here, and we're here at this same time every Tuesday with a Tuesday Tips Live, which is a new teaching subject every week. So if you're watching this on the replay and you're wondering what's this all about, this is like a deep dive, long lesson that we go through. We do a particular teaching point and we answer all the questions about that. And then on Thursdays at the same time we do a live Q&A, which is basically a free-for-all. You can ask any question that you want to ask and we'll answer it for you. And as I mentioned at the beginning, Phil is actually away this week. He's on a well-earned holiday with his family, and so I'm covering Tuesday Tips Live this week. And Ben, who a lot of you guys and girls will have seen on our DJ set live stream on Sundays, he's going to be taking care of the live Q&A on Thursday as well. So I'm sure he's dealing with his own nerves. All right. So as I said, hello to everybody who's already tuning in. I'm getting loads of comments coming through already. So what we're going to do before we get started on the teaching, which is how to use deliberate practice to improve your DJ skills, I'm going to say hello to a few of the people who are in early. So Matt, DJ Morris, Driver John, how you doing, man? I'm going to put a couple of comments on the screen here as we go through. Jorge, good afternoon from Portugal. How you doing, Jorge? The Ruckus, how you doing, man? Here all the time. Michael Girth, how you doing? You've been pumping iron, haven't you, my friend? Sarah, good to see you here, Sarah. Pete, Pete has said, if I had a beard, we wouldn't have noticed. I'm not sure Phil would be too happy with you suggesting that he's got no hair, but I know what you're saying. I could have got away with it. DJ Mark 4, Paul from Milton Keynes in the UK. How you doing, Paul? Graham says, big deep breath, you'll be fine. Thanks, Graham. Appreciate the support. Gerald in Las Vegas. Robert has asked the first techie question, so we'll allow a quick techie question here. What are them speakers in the background? These are the Pioneer DJ RM07s. There you go, the RM07s. That's what they are in the background, and that is a Pioneer DDJ 1000, and that's my laptop. So let's get the techie stuff out of the way first of all. Thanks, Robert. DJ LVD2 just says hi to everyone. Loris, Vic, thank you for your support there. Nick, Vic, Ray Swayze, Alex, DJ 9 Iron, Big Joe. Wow, we've got a lot of you guys tuning in, which is fantastic to see. And yeah, Phil probably is watching from somewhere, from his campsite. Those of you who actually tune into Phil's live stream DJ sets, got something exciting coming up for you this Sunday, because as I mentioned, Phil's on holiday and he's out camping, and he's going to be choosing some undisclosed, as yet undecided location to do his live stream from on Sunday. So make sure you tune in for that. And the live streams are at 5 p.m. London time, midday Eastern time. So make sure you tune in. All right, well, listen, we're getting loads and loads and loads of comments. People just saying hello. It's great to have you all here. But what I'm going to do is we're going to get on with the teaching point today, which is about how to use deliberate practice to improve your DJ skills. So what's the problem here? Let's see if you guys have ever had this issue. You have a practice session. You go, I'm going to go and do some DJ practice, and you basically get on the decks, start, playing some tunes, messing around, having a bit of fun. You might be lucky enough to spend 30 minutes or an hour, practicing. And at the end of it, or just in general over time, you just don't really feel like you're actually making any progress with your skills. You're having fun, playing some music, that's all great, but are you actually progressing your skills? Are you improving? And of course, a lot of you guys would take DJ training. A lot of you guys are students of Digital DJ Tips. You'd take a course to help you with that. But even then, when you're taking training, you've got to make sure that your practice sessions count and that the skills are starting to come, that you're seeing improvement, that you're feeling like you're getting better at whatever it is that you're practicing, that you're looking to do. And basically, if you don't have intention around your practice sessions, you're going to struggle, and I'll explain the reasons why here. So just keeping an eye on the comments as well at the same time here. They all come up right in front of me, so I'm a bit distracted. Phil has his two places he goes to, doesn't he? He goes away, does the teaching, comes back to the comments. I think that's probably a good technique to not be distracted. Right, so let's stay focused. So focus is a big part of this. The first thing that you need to do when thinking about your practice sessions is plan 2 different types of practice sessions in your calendar. So, are there any of you there who are like, what do you mean put practice sessions in my calendar? You do that, right? That is really important. We teach it here at Digital DJ Tips. For you to be able to get better at DJing at whatever skill it is that you want to learn, whether it's beat matching or whether it's cue play, tone play, whether it's scratching, whether it's counting and timing, whether it's learning a routine. If you're going to make progress with that, you've got to have time scheduled in your calendar to do it. And, just put as much time in as you can, but it doesn't have to be crazy. But what I'm saying to you here is to make sure that you have 2 different types of practice sessions scheduled into your calendar. Those 2 types of practice are, the first one is freestyle practice, okay? Now this tends to be what we do naturally. If we've got no focus and we're not set out to do deliberate practice, we get on the decks, we get some tunes together we like, we start playing, and it's all good, it's great fun, we're having great fun with the music, but really we're just freestyling. And I'm the same as well with scratching. If I feel like I'm going to do some scratching, I just freestyle. And if you think about it, with freestyling and just doing what you want, all you're doing in a freestyle session is you're basically you're performing what you already know how to do for the most part. So they're an important part of practice sessions because they're creative and fun, and they get you in the flow. It's fun just get on the decks and play. But if you're looking to improve particular skills, you've got to also have a different type of practice session planned out, which is a deliberate practice session. So first of all, in your calendar, in your planner, make sure that you've got 2 different types of practice session going on. Even if you can only get 1 practice session per week, alternate them so that you've got a freestyle and a deliberate practice session. Okay, so just going to keep an eye on the comments here. A few supportive comments. Thank you, Sunny. Thank you, Alex. Good to see you here. Right, so we're talking about how to use deliberate practice to help you improve in your DJ skills. If you've just joined us, by the way, this is Digital DJ Tips. We do this every Tuesday Tips Live. And we're the guys behind this book, Rock the Dance Floor. Oh, have I got my own picture? No, that's it. Behind this book, Rock the Dance Floor, written by my partner and the founder of Digital DJ Tips, Phil Morse. Make sure you check this out. And everything that we teach here is all pulled from the 5 key areas of DJing success, which we teach in here, which are gear, techniques, promoting yourself, playing out, and music. Those 5 key areas of DJing are covered in this book, and it's what we're talking about here. And this one here really is about techniques. It's about making sure that your practice sessions are going to get you better at the techniques that you want to improve in. So we're talking about deliberate practice. What is deliberate practice? Well, it's learning by doing. which of course practice should be that, but it's also very, very focused. The word deliberate is the clue, right? So in a deliberate practice session, you are going to stay focused on one particular thing that it is that you want to improve in. Now this method is used by chess masters, it's used by athletes, it's used by chefs, it's used by people learning languages. You know, this is a really, really common technique to make sure that you learn difficult techniques, because when you're learning something which is new to you and is alien to you, it doesn't just come instantly, it comes through repetition, which is what deliberate practice is all about. So if you think back to when you were a youngster, there was a time where you didn't know how to do up your shoelaces, right? And you had a lot of deliberate practice in order for you to learn how to do up your shoelaces, to the point where you can probably do up your shoelaces now without even thinking about it, right? You don't even have to consider what you're doing. That muscle memory came through deliberate practice. The same with learning to ride a bike, which I guess pretty much everybody on this call will have done at some point, or maybe you've even helped teach your kids to ride a bike. It's that same thing, isn't it? It's the repetition of the process over and over again until the point comes at which you get it, you've got the balance, you can hold yourself up, and then after a while, of course, it becomes automatic. And there's the saying, it's like riding a bike, you never forget it. That's what we're talking about here with deliberate practice, which is that you have to put repetitive, focused action into learning particular techniques that you find difficult if you're going to learn to master them and to overcome them. And the problem comes when in those freestyle sessions, which I was talking about, where you get onto the decks, you think that you're going to practice something that you might be finding difficult. So say it's a bit of scratching, a chirp scratch or something like that. You start practicing it. It's hard because you haven't learnt it yet. It's not automatic yet. And then you just basically just carry on with what it is that you know how to do. You start just freestyling and doing things that you've already learned, and you haven't achieved anything there. So this focus is really, really important. And it's repetition and not practice that makes you perfect. Okay, so that's what deliberate practice is. It's focused on one particular skill or technique in each individual session. And the biggest challenge of it is to stay focused. It's to not give up and just start freestyling and going into your comfort zone. So I'm going to talk to you about how to plan out practice sessions in a second. But I'm just going to have a look at a few comments and see if there's any insight from you guys here, see if there's any feedback here. Really, it's just you guys chatting amongst yourselves, which is already good. Talking about the book and streaming. Cool. Okay, so here's a tip from Sean. He says, when I fire up my decks, I imagine I'm spinning in a club and trying to make the set flow and use the skills. Oh, I'm going to put that back on there. I've got a little time limit on here. Make the set flow and use the skills I have and test myself. Yeah, that's a really good visualization technique. Really good. And probably useful for like knowing what track to choose next and the set, planning a set, that kind of thing. Good tip there, Sean. I'm just going to change the setting to make sure that when I put a comment on the screen, it stays there for a little bit longer. Just give me 1 second to do this. Here we go. I'm going to put it on for, how many seconds shall I put it on for? 12 seconds. That should be long enough. Okay, let's see if this works. So David said, I'm so poor at making time for deliberate practice. I really need to do this. I want to add extra elements in mixing like effects and different types of transitions. I need to do this more. Okay, brilliant. So David has figured out the very first step of making sure that deliberate practice works for you. And that is to define success and break it down element by element. You really need to be very, very clear on what your weaknesses are and what it is that you need to practice and improve on, with a goal in mind. So, for David there, he wants to be able to use effects in different types of transitions. So initially, I think, the first step is to master certain effects, to really understand how certain effects work. You know, to understand how every setting, the dry wet setting, the beat value setting, the filter settings within effects, you know, that could be your first deliberate practice session, is to just spend 30 minutes just with a low cut echo, for example, just figuring out how it works, how it sounds on different beat values, how it sounds with different dry wet controls, and play with it and play with it and play with it, but just focus on that one effect, so that by the end of that practice session, or maybe a couple of practice sessions, you really know that effect totally inside out as to how it works and how to apply it. And you know, of course, there are dozens of effects, so you could have a whole list of these that could be your different practice sessions. But your weakness could be any number of things. If you're learning to scratch and you've got to a certain proficiency level, it might be that, you know, transformers are fine, but one-click flares you're finding very difficult. So that's the next thing that you want to move on to. It could be the very basics of scratching, like just being able to learn a rhythmic baby scratch. It could be beat matching, you know, the basics of manual beat matching, or being able to mix and blend tracks together for a long time and keeping them in time over a long mix. It could be a cappella mixing, which is pretty challenging. You know, getting the timing right of a cappellas when there's no drums on a cappellas is challenging and takes practice. It takes deliberate practice to be able to learn it. Timing and rhythm, you know, I've already talked about things like tone play and you know, cue juggling and dexterous stuff. If you're into the James Hype style of DJing, learning how to hit buttons quickly in rhythm, all that kind of stuff. So identify what all your weaknesses are. Put them in a list and try to put them in an order where it kind of makes sense. An order of difficulty, moving up from easy to getting more difficult. There's no point saying my deliberate practice session is going to be on the boomerang scratch, which is a very advanced scratch, when you can't even do a chirp yet. You know, that just doesn't make sense. And also, by the way, all this insight comes from the Scratching for Controller DJs course, which I'm the tutor of, and I know there's going to be a lot of you guys here that are some of my students. But that course, like all of our courses, is structured so that we take you step by step from very beginner to slightly more advanced, slightly more advanced, slightly more advanced, and each step we're telling you to go away and practice. So we're basically teaching you deliberate practice in our courses. We don't let you move on to a more advanced step until you've mastered a particular step. So Jay Panardi here says, I like to practice finger drumming with melodics. Yeah, melodics is a really, really good tool to help you practice and learn that muscle memory. It's great, and it keeps you very focused on that one subject, doesn't it? And DJ Skojo69 says, I found new techniques by going out of my comfort zone. Yeah, that's what we're talking about here. The point here is that, you know, I'll give you a bit of a sort of non-DJ world example. Some of you may know that another part of my life, other than digital DJ tips and DJing, is fitness, and specifically obstacle course racing. So I'm one of those guys that you see swinging off of ropes, climbing over cargo nets, jumping over walls, swinging into rivers and swimming out the other side and stuff like that. You know, the Spartan races and Tough Mudder, those kinds of things. I really love doing that, and I'm trying to get better and better at it all the time. And what I've had to do is identify the specific things that I'm not very good at. So whether that is grip, or whether it's climbing a rope, or whether it's, you know, a particular technique of getting over a particular obstacle, identify what those weaknesses are and go and do particular sessions just on that. So I don't do all the fun things that I know how to do. I go and do the hard things that are hard, like trying to hang for 45 seconds, trying to grip from one hand. You know, these things are hard. They're outside of my comfort zone. And that's why I need deliberate practice to train them. Because when I just think, oh, that's too hard, I'm going to not do that and do something I can do, then I'm not progressing at all. I'm not making any improvements by doing that. You've got to keep doing the hard things until they become easy and instinctual. Okay, so we've talked about identifying what your weaknesses are. So then in your particular session, you've got to, when you put it in your calendar, put in there what it is that you're going to be practicing on that particular day in that session. So yeah, your calendar could say 30 minutes, deliberate practice. It could say finger drumming using melodics, for example, or it could say the chirp scratch from the scratch course. or it could take my improving counting and timing in my mixing, okay? So be very clear on what it is that you're practicing today. And as you start each session, make sure you kind of agree with yourself as to what it is that you're going to stay focused on, all right? And then during the session, keep yourself disciplined that you're staying with that. Because as we've already said, you could be trying the chirp scratch for 10 minutes or something, and you think, I'm just not getting it, I'm not getting it. Then you just start doing some nice baby scratches and cuts because you can do them pretty easily, and you're having fun, and now you're getting the endorphin rush of doing something which you can do. You're not improving by doing that. You have to keep pulling back and stay focused on what is it I'm practicing today. And also with these practice sessions which are doing the things that you're finding challenging, that are outside of your comfort zone, don't have them too long. Maybe 20 minutes is fine. Because if you have them too long, then they'll be, you won't enjoy them. You're less likely to come and do the next one. So keep them short. It keeps your attention. It's easier to stay focused for a short period of time, and you will see the improvement. So make sure that you know what it is you're practicing in the particular session. And I'll come on to the next point in a second. I'm just going to come and have a look at some comments. If you've only just joined us, by the way, this is Tuesday Tips Live, Digital DJ Tips. Normally it's Phil Morse here. I'm Steve Canueto, his partner, standing in while he's on holiday this week. And we're talking about how to use deliberate practice to improve your DJ skills. So if you've only just joined us, make sure you watch the replay afterwards so you can watch it from the beginning. All right, let's see if there's any particular comments here from you guys that, or any insights that you guys have got here. Okay, this one looks interesting. Am I crazy, or do I just build muscle memory through just pretending to DJing on the table? I know it's core basics for 8 years and memorized the deck layout, so I'm embarrassed for saying. So, no, I think there's a muscle memory around ergonomics, which is a different kind of thing. Scratch DJs will tell you that they practice finger movements away from the turntable. So they practice finger movements of faders, and they practice fader click movements by tapping on their fingers and things like that, or on a desk. You don't have to be on the decks to practice certain things. But yeah, interesting one. It kind of, I know that, if you're learning to play the drums, you can practice playing the drums anywhere, not necessarily at the drum set. So yeah, good point. Let's see if we got any other comments here. Just give me a second. I'm not that used to this system, so so yeah, just give me a sec. Okay, this is the Dude Club here. Hopefully I can read this in 12 seconds. Can I just add that if you plan to perform live on a bigger venue sound system, do practice and test on your monitors and do headset levels so that you can hear what you're cueing and preparing and get used to the sound with a delay interface. Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, it just does prove that one of the best ways to get deliberate practice in playing actual gigs is play actual gigs. The kind of delays and issues that you can get with sound reverberation in a room when you're playing in a big club, there's nothing really that can prepare you for that when you're practicing in your bedroom. You can't emulate that delay and that kind of reverb that's going around the room. So the more gigs that you play, and where you have DJ monitors and you have to deal with these issues, the more that you'll get used to it. Again, it's just exposure and repetition, I guess. All right, cool. So good to see you guys all chatting away in the comments there. So the next thing to make sure that your deliberate practice session is going to be fruitful for you is to stay focused, as I've already said. Don't freestyle, limit the sessions, and don't move into what's called mindless activity. So, if you're just not feeling it, then the best thing is to stop, maybe take a 5-minute break and come back and try and get back into it again. Because if you just then spend the rest of the session freestyling out of your comfort zone, you haven't progressed, you haven't learned anything. This is all about getting results. And I'm going to tell you in a second how you actually will know that you're improving. It's a little point that I want to make about learning DJ routines. If you see a routine from a DJ and you want to copy it, you want to learn it, the biggest mistake that you can make when you're practicing to learn it is to try and learn the whole thing. You have to break it down section by section. And I've done this a lot of times because I create all of the mix deconstructions for Digital DJ Lab, which is our DJ program. And we've got, I think, almost 100 mix deconstructions in there now. And, you know, in order to deconstruct these, I have to learn them as well. Even though I can DJ and I can do most things, I still have to learn how to do a particular routine. And quite often it's breaking it down to the very, very small parts, especially if there's anything like a tone play or there are any little scratches or juggles. It's too much to ask of yourself to start to practice the set from the beginning, get to that point, then start from the beginning, get to that point. What you need to do is just isolate that little point of the routine and go, right, I'm going to master that 10 seconds of the routine in my next deliberate practice session. That's all I'm focusing on. And then when you've got that and it's totally automatic, then when you start to do the whole routine and you come to that point, your muscles just take over and you don't have to think about the complexities of what's going on and basically get stuck and screw it up. So even if you want to learn a routine that's just 3 minutes long, that's got a lot of stuff going on in it, break it down, break every single little part of it down and practice it in separate segments before you put it together. All the pro DJs who put routines together do it that way as well. So, okay. So, you're doing these practice sessions, they are focused, you think you're doing well, but how do you know you're doing well? Well, the big tip here is make sure that you record your practice sessions. The freestyle ones, you can record them if you want. You know, it could be fun to listen back to your kind of freestyle sessions, but the deliberate practice sessions, make sure you record them. Just record them in your DJ software or find a way to record the audio. Then listen back afterwards. And you will be able to hear more objectively when you listen back afterwards where you need to improve, what mistakes you're still making, but most importantly, that you're getting better. Especially with things like scratching, you know, you will notice that, like, wow, that's sounding more crisp. You know, I got 7 out of 10 of those scratches absolutely perfectly in time. I'm getting better, I'm getting better. You need to have this experience of being able to reflect, take notes, see how well you're doing, hear how well you're doing, to know, like, just to have that confidence that, like, right, this is working. I know this is hard. I know this is challenging and I'm out of my comfort zone here, but listening back to it, it sounds good, it sounds better. And another tip, which I've just remembered, which I didn't have on my notes, but is a really important one, is if you're struggling, if you're listening back to your recordings and you're saying, I'm just not getting it, no matter how much time I'm just not getting the speed of the buttons, I'm just not getting the speed of the scratch, slow everything down. And the same with manual beat matching as well, if you're learning that. Slow everything down. And when I say slow everything down, I mean the tempo. So if you're learning to scratch, for example, start learning to scratch at a BPM of around 70 or 80 BPM. If you are trying to learn at 100, it's a lot more difficult to basically get the speed and get the muscle memory going. And start slow. So if you're finding that you can't keep up with certain techniques, there's anything that's like dexterous, like cue play or fader movements or scratches, and you just think, I can't keep up, I'm not getting any better, slow it down first of all. Nail it and master it slow, so you're learning the muscle memory, and then slowly move the BPM up, just by 2 or 3 BPM each time, and then practice at a faster tempo and practice at a faster tempo, and you can imagine what's going to happen, right? It's going to get easier as you get quicker. So listen, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I've forgotten the kind of social media rule that there is, which is that if you are enjoying this, let's see some emojis, let's see some love, let's see some interaction. And also, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and click that bell notification to make sure you get notified of any more training that we've got coming up. And also on Facebook, make sure that you're following us as well to get reminders about when we go live, because if you're not following us, you might miss out. So Alex says, hey, how you doing? Good to see you, Alex. And you guys are all having a big chat about in-ear monitors. Cool, good to see. All right, so we're almost at the end of the training here for how to use deliberate practice to improve your skills. And as we said, the last thing is to record, listen back, see how you're progressing. And if you're happy with where you are, then you can move on to the next thing in your list of techniques, of list of things that you need to work on, your weaknesses. You've got to go back to them, tick off the one that you've done and move on to the next one. And most importantly, those new skills which you've just learned in your deliberate practice sessions, take those into your freestyle sessions and have fun, because then you're incorporating them with what you already know, and of course you're adding to your skills. That's what this is all about. Okay, so I've got a couple of tips to finish off with, but I'm seeing if you guys have got any questions about this. I'm gonna change the amount of time that these comments can stay on screen because I want to. Right, here we go. Dirty Jokes fan says, how you doing? He says, hi Steve, I have huge trouble with boomerang and swing flare scratches. I recommend short 10 to 15 minute sessions before the frustration kicks in. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier on. Keep your sessions short, especially the things that you're finding really challenging. It will help to keep you motivated, but make sure you record them and listen back, because you'll hear those improvements coming in. And you're probably doing better than I am, because I'm hopeless at the boomerang and swing flare scratches. So I applaud you. Well done. Who else have we got here? Okay. Yeah, Dave kind of says the same thing here. Walking away for 10, 20 minutes or an hour, even the next day, is enough to crack the frustration. Yeah, that's a good tip, Dave. You can walk away from it and come back, and you can suddenly find that something sank in that last session which you didn't think it did. Stevie D says, hi Steve, I think I need to buy some of your courses. There are a lot of things I want to learn, like scratching, because I've always freestyled my sets and having fun but not learning new things. Yeah, so this is you know, one of the things that we pride ourselves on here with the way that we put together our courses is that you get results. You know, they're put together in a sequential order, starting from the easiest stuff, moving up to more advanced, so that you always feel like you're learning, you always feel like you're getting, you know, you're winning along the way and improving. And every single lesson in all of our courses ends with, right, you know, you need to go away and practice this. It's not just a case of watching a load of videos and that's how you learn. You don't. You learn by doing. But the important thing with our courses, of all our courses and all our trainings, that we tell you specifically exactly what it is you need to do before you move on to the next step. So yeah, it'd be good to see you on some of our courses, Stevie. DJ Philip Tan says, question, I'm finding it challenging taking techniques I can do on actual vinyl to DVS. The latency buffer throws me off. Any tips on getting used to the delay? So I'd say the best tip for that, Philip, is to stop using vinyl for a significant period of time. The point is here is that you're still stuck between two different mediums, and what you need to, if there's a new timing that you need to learn because of the latency of DVS, then you need to just stick with that for a long time to unlearn the timing which you've probably learned over decades, right, with vinyl. That's going to be the way to do it. But having said that, you know, it should come quite quickly, because for me, when I moved from vinyl to the Traktor Control S4, which was the first digital controller that I had, and then to DVS or even to little controllers, there's a period of adjustment where I'm needing to get used to the different timing of the fader and the jog wheel and the responsiveness and the latency. But ultimately, it doesn't take that long to be able to convert that into the new setup. So maybe if you're moving backwards and forwards between vinyl and DVS quite a lot, you're sort of confusing your muscle memory nervous system there. But yeah, stick with it. Stick with DVS for a bit longer. Forget vinyl for a while and see how you get on. Okay. The Ruckus says, load song, mix in, instant double, half beat to jump forward, beat juggle, long time to master, so many steps. Yeah, exactly. And learn each step one at a time. You know, if you're doing quick mixing and there's, you know, you end a track and you have to quickly load the next track with instant doubles, sometimes just that process of like end the track, load the next one, instant doubles, that's the only thing you need to practice for a period of time. Those combination of buttons, because it's not always performance that we're doing. Quite often it's scrolling in the browser, finding the next track, loading it up, hitting sync potentially. You know, there's all these various different steps that we have to do. Maybe changing the key, hitting key sync, all these button presses that have to happen in order for you to be able to perform this next quick mix. You have to learn each and every step of that as part of your practice. So good luck with that. Philip just followed up, said thanks for the tip. It's the timing between my record hand and the crossfader that messes up when I go to DVS. Yeah, so just stick with DVS for a while, and you'll improve for certain, Philip. DJ Zami says the ramp up time is really quick because your body knows how to adjust. However, scratching takes a little bit longer. My brother is used to both now. Yeah, so this is talking about tempo, about starting slow and getting faster. Once you nail something at a slow tempo, you can move up the tempo quite quickly, but you can get discouraged if you're trying to learn something too fast to begin with. You can just think, oh, I can't do this. Truth is, you can't do it at that BPM. Slow it down, learn how to do it at the lower BPM, then you can do it, and then you can start to speed up. So you have to move your mind between this place of I can't do this technique to a place of I can do this technique. It's just I need to now do it faster. All right. Okay, got a Facebook user here, so you're anonymous at the moment. You have to click this link in the live broadcasts to let us put your name on the screen, just to let you guys know. By the way, I'm overrunning here massively. I figure, you know, we're having fun. It's an interesting subject. So if you guys are happy to stick around for a bit, I'm here for a little bit longer. Robert, hi. I'm still relearning, but I'm finding dropping the bass on outgoing track and letting the incoming track's bass replace the outgoing track, given that your beat is matched. So are you saying that you're finding that hard? Given that your beat is matched. Helps a lot. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's a good point. That's called the bass swap mix there. So thanks for that. All right, Craig, in his attractive Santa hat. Is it still Christmas time, Craig? Maybe time to look at that profile picture. He says, I've got a lot of courses from Digital DJ Tips and other providers, so my practice is all over the place by switching between them all depending on how I feel. No idea if it's a good way, but it keeps it interesting. I mean, it's a good point that we have to remain interested in what it is that we're learning. If you're just grinding away for months on end and the only thing that you're practicing is trying to master a really advanced scratch technique, it's going to get pretty dull. You do need to have some variety. So if you are like Craig, who's you know, taking some learning through various different courses and learning various different things, I guess you have to kind of prioritize which skills you want to learn first. Maybe if it's a goal in mind. So if you're going to be playing a gig in a club in a few months, or that's your goal, that you want to play a club gig soon, then focus on the training that's going to give you just what you need to be able to do that. There's no point learning complex scratches for 2 months if your goal is I want to get good enough to play a club gig, when actually what you probably should be practicing is, you know, your track selection, you know, your library management, your counting and timing, your mixing, key mixing, all that kind of stuff, you know, getting used to the cue and using monitor speakers, all the things that are going to be relevant specifically to a club set are the things that you should concentrate on. So yeah, if you're taking a lot of training and you find yourself moving between all various different kind of disciplines and things that you're learning, maybe set a goal and then focus on just learning the things that you need to concentrate on to achieve that goal. All right, Mike just says thanks for sharing your time with us. It's really good to be here. So just to remind you guys that on Thursday at this time, well actually at 40 minutes ago, because we're 40 minutes in now, we've got the live Q&A, which is a complete open free-for-all, any questions about DJing that you've got. And our colleague here at Digital DJ Tips, who's the community manager, a lot of you guys will know, Ben Vincent, is here taking care of that this week because Phil's off. So make sure you come and give Ben some questions and give him some support. I'm just going to grab another comment here from Driver John. He says, I learned to beat match manually with vinyl by ensuring the volume in my headphones is exactly the same as the volume in my speakers, and I never take my headphones off when beat matching. All right, good tip for you guys there looking to learn beat matching. Someone there saying, sorry I'm late, we'll watch the replay. Yeah, if you've just joined or you're late, you can watch the full replay. We've covered here how to use deliberate practice to improve your DJ skills. Let's just see if there's any other comments from you guys here. Stevie says, how long does the course last? Week or months or lifetime after buying? And will I be able to join the Digital DJ community? So, okay, Stevie, first of all, we don't have just one course. We've got 23, I think it is, available at the moment. And you're in luck as well, because tomorrow is the opening of our Easter sale. We only do 2 promo sales per year. Black Friday near the end of the year, and the Easter sale is opening tomorrow. Keep it open for a few days, and basically there's 35 to 45% off all of our courses there, and we've got all different types of courses covering DJing and music production and making mixtapes and hardware and software and scratching and mixing and loads of really cool courses there. So you need to head to digitaldjtips.com to the courses area, take a look there and have a look around. And these courses are basically instant access. So you pay your money, you log in and you go to our training platform and you basically get full access to the course. I wonder if I've got the technology here, he says nervously, to show you guys. Let's see if my window is working here. First of all, I hope you can still hear me, but yeah, this is our courses page. So digitaldjtips.com/all courses. These are the DJ courses. You can browse them here. And you can see all of our different courses there. And we've got courses with DJs, we've got James Hype, Laidback Luke. If you're into house music, you should check out House Mixing Mastery. If you're into making mixtapes and learning a bit about editing and stuff, we've got a brand new mixtape, pro mixtape formula course that's available now as well. So yeah, lots for you to choose from there, guys, in the Easter sale, which opens tomorrow. Cool, that was a bit nerve-wracking, moving between those screens. Okay, so listen, a couple more tips just to leave you with on this deliberate practice. If you're interested in deconstructions, the mixed deconstructions that I do, you should check out Digital DJ Lab. Again, it's on our courses page. And those are a really good way for you to learn new skills, which is to break down, deconstruct, and deliberately learn a routine that you've seen another DJ doing. And we can talk you through those. And also, you know, get a coach. I've got a coach for my training I was talking to you about earlier on, and that coach helps me keep me focused on, like, you know, not wasting my time on things that are not going to benefit me and focusing on things that are going to help me to improve. And as I said, that's what our courses are about. So if you want to be coached by us, then and you've not got one of our courses yet, then why not jump on board in the sale which opens tomorrow. Right, I've definitely overrun. This is normally half an hour for this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you thought of the session. And just you've got 1 or 2 more minutes to let me know if you've got any particular questions or any tips that you want to give to the rest of the group. Here's Raquel, who says, I feel like track selection is so important that if you just work on mixes and play them back to see if it's a good flow, you'll get plenty good at the technical side without really focusing on it. That's a really good point. It's a great idea. Yeah, if you're just focusing on, like, what's the next track that I want to play, and figuring out a way to mix it in and to get it sounding good in the mix, then you're going to learn the skills to be able to do that just through the problem solving of like, how do I mix this next track in? So yeah, nice tip there, Raquel, thank you. So all the usual guys, Vic, Kevin, the Ruckus, Sean, Mike, Yak Attack, Philip Tan, Creature, all you guys, Craig, thanks to all of you guys for being here. Great to see so many regulars here. I think I've covered everything that I need to cover. Don't forget, Phil Morse, this Sunday, his live stream DJ set is from a secret, undisclosed location. He's on holiday somewhere. He's going to be live streaming a DJ set celebrating 1 year of the Balcony Beats live streams. 1 year ago in the lockdown, Phil did a broadcast on a Sunday pretty much off the cuff, and now we do it every week. Phil does it every 2 weeks, and myself and Ben Vincent, we do the alternative week. So every Sunday at 5 p.m. London, which is 12 o'clock Eastern, we do a live stream DJ set. We do it on Twitch, YouTube and on Mixcloud. So make sure you come and check us out. Make sure you join Phil this Sunday and help him celebrate 1 year of his Balcony Beats sessions. It's going to be a special one. So thanks to all of you guys for being here. Thanks for all of the comments. If you any unanswered questions or anything you want to know, make sure you ask in the comments below the replay on both YouTube and on Facebook, and either myself or the team will answer you there. So have fun with your deliberate practice sessions. I want to hear your stories of success from applying this in your DJing. Thanks for being here. See you on Thursday for the Q&A. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. Bye.